one of the inventions on the 17-point patent is we have gel-filled tires in the car. So these tires will not be blowing out. We learned the hard way. I had 3 tires blow out on the car because the car was just too heavy. So what we did is we took GE silicone tube and pushed it in there with my air compressor and spun the tires around, and now they will never go flat. They will wear out, but they won't go flat. Okay, I'd like to show you a conversion car. This is one of the cars in our car club. It's an electric minivan. And what I would like to tell you about what our car club is about, we have over 100 cars that are running right now on streets. And there's a place called Pioneer Conversions in Lockport. And he's been the primary person that's been converting our cars. Now, he bought a built-in car. Eventually became the president of the car club and immediately opened up his own conversion company. Now he wants to be on board, meaning not research and develop, meaning when we build our first 10 or 20 cars, I need to have people that I can trust, people that know the industry for 30 years. So I'm new at this. With that in mind, I also will be hiring certified welders, of course, and proper people. When I built homes, I learned one thing, that the less you do, the more they do, the more they feel that they're responsible to complete the job for me. When a guy was putting in the concrete, I didn't stand over his head, he put the concrete. So the same with this, I want to look at it as a contractor would look at it. 26 employees, 5 in the office, 20 in the shop, be able to do what they do, what they've done. I'm not looking to hire what I call green people in the industry. I need people that know what they're doing to help me build this car from the very beginning. So in Pioneer Conversion, they've already offered me a space to build the first cars. Because they're having a terrible time. Every time they convert, like if they convert a Porsche, they have to reconfigure everything about that. You know, once they pull the motor, they have to add heavier suspension. They thought this was going to be their dream come true, you know, converting cars for $5,000 or $6,000. It doesn't take much to take my body, which once it's welded, to add $6,000 to make it electric. Because these are not that expensive. They're electric cars. Only has about 4 or 5 moving parts. It's got the shaft, the wheel, that's really all the same. It's got the accelerator, which they call throttle. It doesn't have any moving parts. It's got a little bit of steering in it. So what we're doing is we're looking at why didn't we get rid of all those pistons years ago and go with something that's simpler to build. So like I said, Pioneer Conversions may end up being a key role player in my company, but I would have to hire them as hourly employees, not as a subcontractor. First, we will be doing everything ourselves, and we like to stay that way. So they've converted 45 cars in the 2.5 years that I've known them. I really don't feel that they're making any money wages. They happen to have a garage. If they were charging more, they would probably have some profit. And of course, at my car club, they say that, I fulfill the purpose of their car club just coming along and offering a round up a build, a separate product. What I'd like you to consider is, again, once we get past the first year and we've lost money, and we start making money, if you can possibly make me a projection month to month, what are my sales going to be? What's the profit going to be? And at what point can I start paying back this monster loan that I'm going to have around the neck? At what point can I have an exit strategy to pay them back, to make a huge amount of profit, so when I go to borrow to build a walk into a bank and or a financial institution or possibly go public, which is really would be my dream come true, to offer a stock option or offering, it doesn't bother me at all, of course you understand, to own 49% of my company, not to own. It wouldn't bother me at all to own 10% of a company that's putting out 10,000 cars a year or less. The more we sell, the more we're going to make. It's not all about how much money is. At a certain point, everybody's comfortable. You know, just say theoretically you're sitting on a couple, $3 million, your house is paid for. You should be comfortable at that point. At some point, you need to go back and really make this work. Theoretically, on phase 2 and phase 3, when we're producing more cars, this car could sell for a lot less. For example, if it sold for $25,000 after, say, 5,000 or 10,000 cars were made, and then they got a $7,000 rebate, pretty soon this car could be affordable. And if it was a 2-seater instead of a 1-seater, then we really would be able to jump in and say, we're really building a car company here. By the way, we will not be selling out. This is going to be a separate initiative. I believe if we sell out, they'll quash our project and eliminate it, no matter who we sell it to. So, just so you know that this is correct, yes.
You want to take some questions?
Can I look and see if I've done everything
Sure.
else?
While you're doing that, let me make some comments. Greg's given you a number of assumptions that he's made, and that's fine. You're free to accept those assumptions or challenge those assumptions. You know, one of the things that electric cars have struggled with, and this is technology, as Greg mentioned, it goes back 100 years. When we think of electric cars as new technology, the technology of driving a car through electric propulsion has been around forever. So part of the problem is, what is the challenge of adopting this technology? So you have a technology adoption challenge. A technology adoption challenge is answered by saying, we are going to focus on this very narrow market segment. We're going to dominate that segment, and then we're going to go on to the next segment, and the next segment, and the next segment. You know, there are people that are in their warehouse running S10 Ford pickups inside the warehouse, and that pickup never goes outside the warehouse. You know, there are people driving golf carts from one side of their factory to the other side of the factory. There's all kinds of segments you can look at to say, to prove to the consumer that this is a viable technology, we're going to run it for mail trucks, and then we're going to run it for, you know, other kind of delivery trucks, and then we're going to work up to the consumer market. You don't necessarily have to accept the idea that the first market you're going to try and compete in is the consumer market. So all that stuff is completely open. You know, the first challenge you have is, what is our technology adoption strategy, where we're both going to prove the viability of the technology and then have a series of markets that we're going to dominate to make the technology profitable. In the consumer marketplace, you have a huge infrastructure problem, right? And you have a chicken and egg problem that says, we don't have charging stations every 3 blocks like we have gas stations, because there aren't enough electric cars on the road to justify the infrastructure. And the reason you don't have enough cars on the road is because you don't have the infrastructure. So you have a chicken and egg problem that you have to get around in terms of infrastructure. You also have a profitability issue, right? I pull into a gas station, it costs me...
Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, one other thing. I hope I don't want to embarrass you, but I thought Greg has a little difficulty hearing, so we can kind of pass this around if you have questions. It's kind of awkward, but they can't find the handheld mic that belongs to this room. So if you want to ask questions, we can just pass this around. I've only been here with Amelia, and I know she'll do the right thing with it.
Well, first off, I want to thank everybody here for inviting me to be part of this Capstones project. And my project is called DreamCar123.com, and we want to build electric cars that are long range, using conventional technology. And what we want to do is try to build it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say a number, but we're hoping to build in so many in 5 years, 1,000 cars. We want to go through the development stage of these cars first. Now, a little bit of the history of the Dream Car project is, a few years ago, we built several models that did not run, called prototype models. They were 1/4 scale. And a few years after that, we built a running car, a 2-foot by 2-foot RC car that goes 45 miles an hour, a steel car, and we use our CarMax 2 motor inside, a twin motor and 4-wheel drive. And now we officially had something that we were able to go with. So I was invited to go from somebody that was running for Congress a couple of years ago to the Fox Valley Electric Auto Association. And in that first meeting, I brought my cars to Milwaukee Airport, the prototype models, and